move that guy in a little bit. There we go. We look like we're working to me. So, what are we up to today? Magic cards, actually, of all the weird shit. Not for their intended purpose, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this pack up, and we're going to go through it, and we're going to look at all the cards, and we're going to use a card in here, whatever one we like the most, to base a color scheme off of for some models. Now, I have no idea what kind of colors and stuff we're going to potentially pull out of this pack. So I have a couple different models we could base things on. Second, while I figure out where the hell the rest of them went. Okay, I don't see the others. So this plus one other idea. So I have some of these Necromunda Bansar. Kind of like cyberpunk, kind of fancy body armor guys. And we've got lots of Battletech mechs we could do things for. We have some one-page rules Human Defense Force. Either these little Human Defense Force robots, which by the way are just freaking awesome, cool models. I've got some Adeptus Mechanicus. I've got a Custodes. Now I have a scheme I kind of like for my Custodes, but if something really speaks to me, we'll do Custodes. Or if some kind of wild man kind of color scheme speaks to me, we've got some Conquest Nords. Northmen. Just called Nords? Yeah, Nords. So these are kind of our options that we could do, right? And I kind of the projects that I have just sort of been lingering on my desk, but that might work well for a color scheme that I haven't like already picked, right? Like last week I built a whole bunch of Skaven and I've started painting them, but they already have like a defined color scheme. You know what I mean? Like, so these guys kind of don't. So I figure we'll see what we get once we open this up. So there's an adorable little mouse man on there. He's got some flowers on his belt. And he's got some kind of leaf shield. And then he has like a burning dagger, which is pretty badass. Let's see what we get. All right, we have some kind of adorable otter doing like a ground smash. Hello! That is adorable. It's an otter wizard. It's a very dark color scheme, right? We've got lots of browns, a little bit of red, a tiny bit of blue. That's a Squirrel Necromancer? Squirrel Warlock Bard. That's a thing. Alright, what do we have there? We've got some tans, we've got some whites, we've got some grays, some purples, and some pinks. So not necessarily a bad color scheme. We've got a bunny and a frog. Lots of green in this with the pink highlights. I like that a lot. It's kind of cool. So we got green, brown, and pink. Little bit of blue. That's kind of cool. That might actually make a really cool color scheme for the Mechanicus. There's an adorable otter. What do we get here? We have like a pink pearl. We have some brown otter bits. Silver armor. We got some blue underneath. Yellow coming down from the light there. And some green lily pads. That's a cool fucking piece of art. Yeah, that's super cool. Ghost bunnies. So this one is like a milky white and yellow and green. Not a fan of that. I think that one's going to go in the, yeah, we're not doing that one pile. What do we got here? We got some neon greens. Some kind of weird little mouse guy with lightning bugs. We got some yellows, a little bit of red, a little bit of silver. That's not bad. It's not a bad one. Ooh. We've got a fire lizard. Kind of like a dark, kind of mauve. A little bit of blue. Lots of bright red. I like that. That's pretty cool. With the black. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool too. Let's see. We got a frog boy who's jumping through portals. You got some blue in there, some orange, just some generic contrast there. And a bunch of gray. That one's okay. That one's going to go in the no pile. We've got a really sad looking bunny who has a bag filled with carrots. Weird. So we got greens and some yellows in there. Lots of like kind of flesh tone for the bunny, which is kind of weird. Lots of pinkish kind of fur there. That's okay. Let's see, we got some houses. Houses are boring. We're not basing it off houses. Oh, look at Lizard Boy here. This is cool. So what do we got? We got some, like a blue-green lizard, red armor, yellow neck, kind of like some bright blue sky in the background. That one's really nice. And he has an ant friend, apparently, who's on fire. Just a little weird, but you know, whatever. Ooh, damn. Sorry, it took me a second to see what was all going on there. So it's like a squirrel necromancer summoning like some kind of creatures back from the dead. So lots of like tan, kind of animal brown kind of colors, right? Lots of earthy colors mixed with like purple. Like purple kind of energy and stuff. That's pretty cool. That's similar to the other one. We've got a swamp. That's not bad. It's a lot of colors in this swamp, though. There's so many colors in there, I don't know if we could make that look nice. Ooh, shiny. Shiny little otter lady. Lots of blues, lots of greens, lots of like otter colors. Not bad. That cool fucking card, though. Not bad. And really classic looking piece of art of a like crazy raccoon warrior with the sword stuck in it. That's kind of neat. So you got purple and blue swords, you got a bunch of brown, you got some generic raccoon colors, you got some blue mixed in. So that would be like a green and purple kind of. Alright, so let's go through them again and narrow them down. I like that one. This one's cool, but I don't... Nah, we're going to go with no for that one. I like that one a lot. Squirrel Warlock is really cool. Lizard's cool. Bunny's a no. Other lizard's cool. There's a lot of potential here, especially with the bright green. I think that one's good. This one's going to be blue and yellow based. Do I really have anything that would look super good in blue and yellow out of these models? Honestly, doing these guys with cloth that's blue and yellow might look pretty cool. So that's not a bad idea. That one's got potential. Also potential. I like this art, but I don't think it'd make a good color scheme. Alright. So let's see. I like this picture. We're going to go with no. This one's yellow and bright green. Any of these guys speaking to me as yellow and bright green? Not really. The fire's nice, but if we're going to do red, I'm going to base it on this one. This one and this one are basically the same color scheme. Yeah. Let's see, this one's red and green and yellow, kind of browns mixed in. It's not bad. It's a nice color scheme. It really is. So we could do what? Let's... So if we take this guy, right, we could do like maybe blue armor and red cloth. Maybe like brown pants, red or blue jacket and red armor. I don't know. Not feeling it. All right. So we're down to these two. Let's look at our AdMech. Alright, so what could we do for the AdMech for this guy? Let's see. We could do maybe like a... We could do all the pipes and stuff in like purple, pink. We could do his outer cloak in black or gray, and his pants in black. And then maybe all the armor is actually bone color. And you could do like the wood of the gun and stuff in brown. That actually sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Right? Or this one, right? If we do him in green, right? So maybe we would grab the tan color there for his pants, and then a green for the jacket, because it was kind of leaning towards green on these guys anyway. And then we do all the pipes in pink. That might look pretty cool. And then his armor could be kind of in like a copper kind of color. That might be pretty cool too. That seems like a very normal color scheme though. I think I'm going to try to do the one that I probably wouldn't normally paint. And I think we're going to try to do our Necromancer here. So I need a black. I need a light gray. I need some purples. And I need a tan for the bone color. And a brown. So I'll be back in 1 second. Ugh. Okay, I don't know where that purple went, so that one's not an option. let's see. I needed some grays. I need some grays. I need some grays. What do we got for grays? That's a good gray. Also good gray. Also good gray. All right. Huzzah! I had a pink too, but I don't know where it went. So, brump. There we go. We got some colors. We got some colors. Okay. So, I think black pants, gray coat, tan armor, right? So I think we'll follow that logic. So black's up first. So in this case, we're looking at dark neutral gray from Pro Acryl, which is a really nice black because it's not too black, right? Like it will be dark, and it will be dark enough to imply black without cutting off all of our details. Sorry, lots of beard cam there. We'll move in a little bit so you guys don't have to entirely just stare at my beard. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, those cards have some cool designs in them. And I'm surprised by the number of like bigger animals, like otters and stuff. I, to be honest, kind of thought it would be all stuff like mice, you know. Squirrel necromancers is a fun idea, though, because I mean they kind of, you know, they dig up what's it called, like all year round seeds and stuff. So it's a kind of a fitting thing, to be honest. Okay. Let's see. All right, black pants. And we'll break out. Ooh, feeling a light gray. So we look at Mr. Squirrel here. He's got like light gray, kind of what looks like bug wings, right? Yeah, I think we'll go with that. I think that's pretty cool. We could also try doing like a really dark purple cloth. I think might not be bad either, but I think we'll go with the light gray. So I think we will do this one right here. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to go through and pick them out. Because you know what? I don't know if this color scheme's going to work. I think it will, but I really don't know, right? Like, we're experimenting. It's kind of why I picked this one over the like green and pink one, because that seems like a color scheme that's going to look really nice, like, right? And it's something I would probably have picked anyway. Like, I could see myself coming to that color scheme. But doing non-silver armor on Adeptus Titanicus is not something, or Adeptus Mechanicus, is not something I'd really see myself doing. So I don't know, I think that's why I picked that one. I think that from a like trying something new, learning something new standpoint, I think is pretty darn cool. You know, and that's how you find new things and what you like, right? By trying new stuff. You know, if you just eat the same food every day, you get bored of it. Unless it's Taco Bell. I could eat Taco Bell every day for every meal. So I built these guys up a while ago. These guys are actually from the Imperium magazine my husband had signed me up for, which was really cool at the time. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And I built basically all the sisters out of it. I think I didn't build one of the penitent engines. And I built basically all the Necrons and painted all the Necrons. Did not get super far with the Space Marines because I think as I was painting them, I think I realized that I probably want to do a different approach with Space Marines, right? So I was doing this thing where I'd paint like one or two of every chapter, and it was kind of neat. I don't know. I think the idea of having like maybe one or two cohesive chapters probably sounds a little more fun, to be honest. Because what ends up happening is it ends up being like, oh, I want to pay one-page rules with these guys or whatever, right? And I would really like this whole unit to be Carcharodons, but I don't have enough Carcharodons to put a whole unit together. You know what I mean? So it winds up being a thing like that. So I think I'll probably end up doing like some Space Wolves and some Carcharodons. I'm probably calling that it. Right, and to be honest, some of the ones that are chapters I like less, while it was interesting to paint a model in their colors, like I just don't really see myself gravitating towards using that model, right? Like, like an Imperial Fist or whatever. It's like, do I, if you give me an option between having a Space Wolf or a Imperial Fist, I'm going to 100% of the time pick a Space Wolf, right? 'Cause Space Wolves are fucking cool. Imperial Fists are fucking weird, so like it's one of those kind of situations where it's like, well, I could keep doing this and it would continue to probably be a little bit interesting. I don't see myself actually using the models after the fact, so I stopped, and we'll probably just paint them all as one or two factions now instead. Go. There we go. Okay. All right. Now let's get our bone color out. See what we got. We're gonna look at our little squirrel friend again. Right, our little squirrel, I guess it's friends. I guess we got two of them, so yeah, I think that'll be a good bone color. I'm actually gonna put those right there so I can keep an eye on them then, Oop. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. But yeah, these cards have a lot of cool cards in them. There's a lot of potential for fun color schemes in these cards. It's kind of one of the things you'll really, you'll find with painting models is that, there's a lot of kind of fun and creation of the thing, right, and then executing the skill, but there's very little like, I need to come up with this right now, or like I have this kind of challenge kind of thing, right? So it's kind of why little challenges and stuff like this are kind of fun, they give you that little bit of, oh man, I need to kind of think on my feet and come up with something, right? Like, how am I going to use this? I have to use one of these colors for one of these models, And yeah, I cheated a little by grabbing a bunch of different kinds of models. But I also have to like the end result. You know what I mean? I can't just be like, oh, I painted one of them for YouTube. It's like, no, I have a shit ton more Adeptus Mechanicus, and I really don't want to repaint them all. Like, or I don't really want to like you know, repaint the one that I painted on stream because I didn't like it. You know, it's like you gotta kind of come up with something that you're gonna like, and that kind of works in the context pretty quick. And that's kind of fun, to be honest. You know, I don't tend to do a lot of these kind of YouTube challenge things, but I saw someone doing this and I thought it sounded like a good time. The only other one I've really ever done was the whole like paint an army in a weekend thing, which I think everyone at some point like has tried to do. And to be completely honest, like it is a challenge, you know, like, and I streamed the whole thing. I think it was something like 16 hours or something in total. Are we still on the camera? Yeah, we are. Cool. Yeah, I think it's only like 16 hours in total, right, to do my entire Ossiarch Bone Reaper's army, which is themed like the forces of Palawa Joko in Guild Wars 2. So he's it's kind of what they're themed for. It's kind of hard to see the like the color scheme starting to take shape because, you know, this was a test model previously. So, you know, his colors as they stand are kind of all over the place. So it's a little hard to see that kind of take shape. But, you know, we'll continue with it and just see how it goes, you know. Sometimes there is that, you know, like that ugly phase in painting where it's just kind of like, you know, you gotta trust the process, you gotta push through kind of deal, you know. Because otherwise, like, if you call it early, you'll never finish it, you know what I mean? If you're like, oh, this looks so bad right now, it's like, well, it's because you didn't, you know, you didn't finish it, you didn't put washes on, you didn't dry brush it, right? Like, you didn't follow it through, you know. A lot of painting is kind of like living in that uncertainty and kind of still continuing on, you know. It's very easy to look at something as you're working on it and be like, oh my god, this is garbage, you know, this is not going to work at all. But I don't think there's a ton of value in that, to be honest. I actually kind of really like how the tan metal bits look. That's kind of speaking to me. I think I might do some of his plugs and stuff in not tan, but I don't know yet. We'll see. Also, this brush is like totally knackered and I did not realize it. And he's covered in dog hair because that's my life. Alright. Okay, let's see. So we got our squirrel buddy there. And our squirrel buddy there is kind of like very passive pink. I'm wondering if we do a similar passive pink and then hit it with a purple wash. I'm wondering what it'll look like. I think that might look pretty cool. So I think once I get all the base coats on, I think this is definitely going to get a probably black wash. Maybe a bone wash? I don't know. He's a necromancer. I don't know what better wash there is. If I hit him with a brown wash, it will make this armor stuff look more like bone. But it's also going to really kind of brown up the coat. Now I could switch it up and only hit the armor stuff in brown wash, but I kind of just want to do one overall wash, to be honest. So yeah, I'll have to think about that, but we're not there yet. We're still doing our base coats. We got lots of base coats still to do. And I think I'm going to try to grab some kind of metallic to pull out extra details on this. I think I'm going to try to grab something. I don't know what yet, but maybe like a copper, maybe like a silver. I don't know. We'll see when we get all the other base coats on and go from there. Yeah, I could do something because he's got a couple lenses on him, right? He's got a lens on his backpack light, and then he's got a lens on this rangefinder thing he has, right? Like there and there. Maybe I could do those in like dark purple and then do all the cables and stuff in the light pink and then hit that with a wash. Like a purple wash, I think. We'll go ahead and we'll hit the whole gun in the tan too. Kind of go from there. Yeah, little challenge things are kind of fun, and you get to do them. 10 out of 10, I would definitely recommend. Especially if you have some models that have been kind of just like chilling on your desk. You just, you haven't been sold on the concept of them, you know? So what happens to me is I usually get like a color scheme and I kind of like get really into it, right? Like in my brain I have like some like headcanon for it and all this stuff, you know. You know, and if you have models that like that hasn't happened with yet, you know, doing something like this can be kind of fun to figure out what color you want to do things. God, this brush is like super knackered. Also, I don't know if I've said it. That's Vallejo Bone White. That's what that color is. It's not a bad like bone color. As far as like bone colors go, it's kind of more of like a tanned bone, right? So it actually works really good as a base for like skeleton horde and that kind of stuff, right? Like one of those tan kind of speed paints to go over top of it. It actually works really good for that as a base, because it produces kind of like a really yellowy kind of brown bone. That's really nice. All right. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. You're probably going to have to do a couple coats of it though, unfortunately. But it is what it is. All right. this is actually a pretty interesting idea for a color scheme, because like I really wouldn't have come to, like in my brain when I see armor I'm like, oh, it needs to be a metal color. I really would have never done like a tan armor on my own. So it's kind of neat. Alright, but I was looking at the skeleton thing, right, in this card, and I was like, man, you know what? These guys, their limbs and stuff are very skeletal. So they'd probably look like some kind of skeleton monsters if you painted them that way, but like, I don't know if that would have ever dawned on me before, to be honest. Get some up in there. Fortunately, that means I'm gonna have to repaint the tan, but or the what's it called? The other color. That's okay. I'm gonna have to do touch up for all these colors anyway. We're just trying to get some base coat down. Okay, we're a little chunky in some areas, but it's okay. It's okay on our dude. Alright, let's try ourselves the light pink. We're going to see how it's going to look. So I think I might swap this to a darker purple, although it's like a light pink here with like a dark kind of shadow to it. So I don't know. Boop 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 boop. He's got some cables down here in his legs. We can paint those too. Now, normally if I was doing a color scheme like this, I would do one color and then rotate around and do colors on other miniatures, like that same color, because it gives you time for that color to dry and stuff, so you don't end up having paint tearing and that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to try this color scheme out on one dude, so we are going to go a little quick. This is definitely not my normal painting kind of regiment, right? If I was painting a box of say 10 of these guys, what I would normally do is I would probably break them up into groups of 3 and like one group of 4, because that group size tends to work the best for me, because what ends up happening is I have enough to work on at one time, so when I squirt paint out I don't feel like I'm wasting the paint, and I end up having some kind of like positive reinforcement fast enough, right? Because that's super important with painting. When you're, especially when you're doing big blocks of troops and stuff, making sure you have some kind of like, yeah, I did it, right? Like some kind of little goal to reach is mega important. Because if you don't, it will really like slow your pace down and really kind of like reduce your enjoyment of the painting. Whereas if you have little kind of like objectives or milestones to hit, it really adds to the experience, because you feel like you're getting traction, right? Like you feel like you're accomplishing things, and that helps a lot. That's why I tend not to do groups bigger than like 5 at the absolute most, and that's if it's a really simple model. Otherwise, really for me, the perfect number is probably around 3. So I'm actually painting this Skaven that I mentioned before, that I had built on the channel last week. And I'm doing them all in groups of 3. That's actually going to look pretty cool, I think. I'm starting to feel this now. I think this is going to be an ugly ass paint scheme until we get to the very end. But I think at the very end it's going to be like, wow! You know? I think it's going to really work out. I do need a metal color though, so I can pick out some of the little details. And I need a color for his straps. That's something else I'm going to need. Yeah. So we have to figure out a color for the straps is the wrong word. The purity seals. We have to figure out a color for the purity seals. And then I'm going to need a metal color because there's some little details in here in metal that I think would look pretty cool to pull out. Stuff like the plugs and, you know, like the little antennas and stuff like that, I think will look pretty cool to pull out. But I think that's going to be a cool color scheme once it comes together. I'm kind of feeling it. There we go. All right. Cool. All right. Let's break the brown out, and we'll hit the couple areas that are going to be brown. Really, I think any brown will be good. This squirrel is like a dark purple into kind of like a tannish brown, and this one's like a really rich kind of brown. So I thought the rich kind of brown would be good. There's also some like meat and stuff on the bone animal there, that, you know, could be like a lighter brown, I think, as well. That would be pretty cool. But we're gonna go with this kind of richer brown, like the body of that squirrel. There's a lot of faded colors here, so I think a rich brown might be nice, you know. Go. All right, and then he's got a little pouch on his backpack that we don't want it to be bone color either. Sorry, I have dog hair in my mouth. The life of living with a Shiba Inu is dog hair gets fucking everywhere. He's adorable. He's a great dog, but oh my god. If you don't like shedding dogs, do not get a Shiba Inu. Okay. We got that, we got that. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull out, I think we're going to do it in silver, I think. You know, we're going to pull out some areas in silver, and then we'll go back and touch everything up, and then we'll try some of the really fine details, like his goggles and the vents on the rangefinder and that kind of stuff, right? But I feel like that's starting to come along, to be honest. So I feel like this was actually a good pick. I think with just the right bits of washes and stuff, it's really going to come along. All right, but I do want to pick out some of these little details because I think that will add. Alright, so we're going to get that. It's like the handle of this thing. So there's some definition between the hand and the tool there. You know. I guess what I really should do is I should also pick out the brown. Use that same color for the wood, I guess. I think there's potential there if I do that. We can hit this side here like that. You know, just kind of get these couple little details. And get like this thing, this antenna here. You know, and what this does is just increases like the detail depth, right? Like this miniature has all these details, and it just pulling out a couple of them is going to make it look way fancier, right? So we do the same thing for his antenna here. Right, stuff like antennas and all that's really low-hanging fruit. So, you know, for kind of like custom or different colors. He's got a little plug on the side of his hat. We'll pull that one out too. There we go. We'll pull out the magazine on his gun. He's got like the cylinder kind of thing. There we go. You got a little bit of a nub I left there, but it's alright. Maybe we'll pull out this part of the action of the gun. Seems like it could be cool. And then maybe... Do you want to do the very tip of the barrel, maybe? Yeah, let's do the very tip of the barrel. Go. And we'll pull this little detail here out as well. All right. You don't want to hit everything then, because then it'll just be a silver gun, right? Because we need to hit the gun with some brown. Because actually, a whole lot of this gun is actually wood. Oop, too much water. Too thin, too thin, too thin. You can always tell it's way too thin because you start to have that capillary action with normal paint, and it's like, yep, don't want that. You can see it like kind of like spread, you know, into places it probably shouldn't be spreading. So, yeah. Let's see, and then this I think is also wood. I think the bottom there is all metal though. So there we go. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, definitely have to come back and touch that up, but we're getting our base coats on, right? That's how you get started. So if you try to do everything perfect from the beginning, you wind up with nothing done. Let's see. Alright, that detail is insanely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to catch that with dry brushing after this is dry. Because that part there on the stock is just mental. It's like the tiniest little bit of filigree. And I don't want to have to paint that independently, because that seems like a nightmare. Okay. Alright, alright. And my eyes are like, yep, yep, we're not going to focus anymore. And I'm like, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Where do we start for picking up and cleaning up colors? We need to clean up the black a tiny bit. So I'm actually just going to do something really ghetto. There we go. You just need to clean up the black around that, and around the inner leg armor there. Right, and around this knee pad. Right, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if we have some kind of defined line, it will look cleaner even if it's actually not. Like the end result will look cleaner. So, okay, we're going to do that. And then we need to touch up the pinks. So let's go and hit the pinks again so they have good coverage. There we go. All right, we're just going to try to just kind of light them up so we make sure they have good full coverage on the pinks. Like that one, and this one, and that one, and that one. And if we do this before we make any of the cleanups on the grays, if we make any errors doing the like finer detail and hit something we probably shouldn't, all we are going to do is we're going to clean it up in the next phase anyway. So you know what, let's actually do this in pink too, this like generator part of the backpack. Yeah, let's do that in pink too. That'll get some more pink out. So I think the pink is kind of the kind of like, ooh, they're like the razzle dazzle color on this, you know. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Could do like the inner part there in silver too. It's not good. We did enough in silver. Okay. All right. Let's think. So I still need a color for the. He's got what, 1, 2 purity seals. What's a good purity seal color? Usually I do them in. Usually I do them in red with like tan cloth coming off of them. What do we got in here? There's a little bit of green that's kind of neat. Kind of like a mossy green. That's actually kind of cool. We could do like that kind of mossy green. To be honest, I think I just got a paint that is kind of that color. And now I'm just going to do his visors and stuff, because again, this is tiny little detail painting. And if I fuck this up, that's fine, because we haven't cleaned up the colors around it yet. So when we clean up those colors, we will inadvertently be cleaning this up. Which is nice, right? It's like 2 birds with 1 stone. All handled via order of operation. Right, like look how wonky his eyes are, right? But once I clean this up, this will look good. You know? Okay. Okay. Alright, so let's try a moss green. I just got this. Just got this. This is Autumn Sage. Kind of cool. It looks pretty good compared to that, to be honest. So maybe like Autumn Sage, and then maybe we'll do the cloth bit in pure white, maybe. I mean, I'm half tempted to do the whole thing in Autumn Sage, because that looks kind of cool. but the seal should be a different color from the bit under it. So I think what we'll do is I think we will do that in like a brighter white, which I don't know if it's going to read well, but we'll try. We'll try. I think once we hit this with a wash, I don't know if you'll be able to tell the difference between this and the outer coat. But we'll see, we'll see. Still on camera? Yeah, we are. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, let's hit that green again. I poured a lot of the green out by accident. Alright, so guessing our next colors to clean up should probably be the bone color. Yeah, I'm betting it's probably the bone color we should clean up next. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the gray, and then we'll break out our washes. And we'll finish our guy up and see how we feel about him. Alright, so I'm just going to go around and just touch up a couple areas with the tan, right? Make sure I just have good coverage kind of thing, really, is my goal here. And to fix any areas that I messed up, you know? You know, things like where I didn't have a strong enough edge, you know, with the color. Like on the gas mask there, right? Or around this eye, you know, because the purple was kind of all over the place, you know. There we go. Probably actually hit that a little bit better. There we go. Same thing with this one. Awesome. Alright. The arm here. Various places on this thing. And just kind of lightly going over the top there so we can get those what are they called? The like the lenses. And hit there. Miss a spot there in the back of the hand. We'll fix that while I'm here. Okay. You know, just kind of walking around and fixing those things, right? We're gonna have a whole lot of these on the rifle to fix, and that's fine. And to be honest, this kind of stuff, this kind of color, you have to be really careful when you're applying it, because if you apply it too thin, you'll actually kind of get kind of a green tone, and it's the nature of what goes into a yellow. You know, the constituent parts, like what stands out the most when it's thin. And that's true for every yellow paint. That's why a lot of people start yellow paint with a pink base. So they'll paint the thing pink first, and then they'll paint it yellow, and your end result is it's very kind of like pink to orange kind of looking, which is kind of neat. Well, I'm sorry, it's kind of like yellowy, kind of tinted orange. It's neat looking. Like, I understand why people do it. It looks cool. Alright, I really gotta do that gun, which sucks. Yeah, I'll touch up parts of the gun. These Adeptus Mechanicus guns fucking suck to paint anyway, to be honest. They suck to paint in any color. They have so much fucking detail on them. Because they're meant to look like a M1 or like a Moss and Grand or something. Like, they just have so much fucking detail. Because on top of that, like older kind of like metal and wood kind of look, then on top of that they also have like a bunch of filigree and stuff on them, right? Like, and it's like, dude, ow. Like whoever designed that, man, I want to slap them, right? Like that's tough to paint. We haven't gotten to the hard part yet, but we will. Okay, so we're getting there on the rifle. Notice I fucked up a lot of the brown. That's fine. We'll clean the brown up next because it actually hasn't gotten a cleanup step yet. So I'm going to try to do this filigree. I'm just going to try to like kind of like dry brush it. This stuff sucks to paint. It really sucks. Whoever invented this should be fired. Alright. There we go. Alright, not the most beautiful work, but it'll do for when we touch up the brown. So I think we're actually gonna do the brown last. We'll do the gray next, so it has time to dry before it washes. And then we'll do the brown. Yeah, just gonna kind of repaint some of the areas with the gray where I feel like probably needs a little bit better coverage, or I touched it with a different color when I really shouldn't have, that kind of stuff, you know. I'm not looking to like 100% repaint everything, but I do want nice consistent coverage, right? And I feel like there's definitely a couple of spots where you can kind of see the test tone underneath this first. And that's not something I want, so I'm gonna clean that up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a. I'm gonna go with a brown wash. I think. And we'll try to do a little bit of a lighter brown wash because I do want the. I want the bones to be kind of brownish. There we go. All right. All right. Okay, so there's all of our base coats minus the brown. So wash time. All right, I got 2 washes here. One of these might not work very well, but we're going to try it out and see how it looks. So first off, we're going to do purple wash. This one should be good. And we're going to take this purple wash, we're going to hit all the pink sections with it. Boop. All right, and I'm just going to hit the pink sections. All right, and this will darken it down a little. And it will get in the crevices. And it should give us kind of a nice kind of light in some areas, dark in others. just going to walk around and hit the different areas with this wash. Alright, and I want to make sure I put enough of the wash on that you do get that capillary effect, which we didn't want with the paint, but we want with our wash, where it goes down in the crevices, right? Because that's kind of what we want. We want our wash to darken the depths and not super amazingly darken the highlights, right? A little bit of color shading is fine, but I really don't want to wash that just basically as paint. It's one of the reasons I don't really like the new formulation Agrexar shade, because it really just behaves like speed paint. It doesn't really behave like it used to. So, not a fan of the new Agrexar shade because of that. Which is why I've been trying out all the new washes from Army Painter, which is actually one of the next washes we're going to look at. I'm going to debate it if that's the one we're going to use or not. So, there we go. Alright, then we got some down here in the legs as well. And around the helmet. Here on the side of the helmet. And then more around the helmet. Then we got the rest of the backpack here. Like that. Okay. Back of the helmet. Back of this cable. This little cable right here. Gotta get both sides of that. Okay. Yeah, it's coming along pretty well. Alright, let's touch up the brown now. And then while we wait for the brown to dry, we'll talk about some of these other washes. Because I kind of have an idea, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze for a second. I was like, oh, sneeze is coming. I can feel it. I screwed that up there at the very tip of the rifle. That's going to bother me if I don't fix it. Alright. There we go. And that's our little dude's rifle. Right? Do we hit his pouch anywhere? The pouches look fine. Alright, we're good for the pouches. Okay. So let's talk washes for a second. Army Painter has a whole bunch of new washes that are all fucking great. This purple tone, the one I use on the cables, is one of the new ones. The other one is this, which is dark skin shade. Now this is a kind of black brown wash with a hint of purple mixed into it. This is an awesome wash. We're going to test this out first and see if we like it, because I think it'll look great on every color, but I don't know how it's going to look on the bone color. Okay. Do we like that? I'm going to actually go with no, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that in the bone color. I think it would look fine on everything else, but in the bone color I don't like it. Alright, so let's try some other stuff. So I've got Strong Tone here, and I have Black Wash from Pro Acryl. Let's try the Black Wash on the bone and see how it looks. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I think we'll do the Black Wash. And what I'll do is I'll repaint that one leg in a minute. Yeah. The Pro Acryl washes are also really, really nice. I like them a lot as well. The Pro Acryl washes actually remind me a lot of how GW washes used to behave, which I think is why I like them so much. They really kind of feel like old Agrex Earthshade or old Nolan Oil, you know, because those paints just don't behave the same anymore. And I will say that I also really like the new Vallejo washes as well, because they have some that came out last year that are also very good, but the problem with them is that they stain a lot, which can be very good if that's what you're looking for. So like I really like the Vallejo washes on like my cowboys, for example, because it gives them kind of this like almost cell shaded kind of look, which I think is really neat, because the wash stains really strongly like it's a paint when it's in the recesses. So it's almost like it's painting the recesses with brown versus behaving like a wash. It's really neat how it works, but it doesn't behave like a normal wash. But I really do like it as a wash. I think it's really cool. It just is not the normal, like what you would normally expect. Like these Pro Acryl ones, they behave exactly like when you say the word wash, they behave exactly like what you would think they would do. Yeah, you can legitimately just see me putting this on, and it just behaves like Nolan Oil used to. It's really nice. Yeah, one of my favorite hobby shops in Ireland carries Pro Acryl now, which is very nice. Because not a lot of places seem to carry Pro Acryl, which is a real shame. So you get a lot, like in a jar from them for pretty cheap, especially compared to like Citadel or something. And they have a lot of nice colors, so. I mean, nothing's going to touch the new Army Painter War Paints, just because the quantity of colors is insane, and like the slightest little shade differences and stuff, which is awesome. I'm not saying that as a negative, but like nothing's going to compare with that. But you know, they have a lot of nice colors at least. But yeah, man, 10 out of 10 for this challenge. Would highly recommend this. Is very fun. Especially maybe if like you're feeling kind of burnt out or something, right? Or maybe you don't have a lot of energy for kind of like the creative portion. The challenge kind of adds some flair and novelty to it. That's pretty neat. I would recommend. Yeah, I buy Magic cards for my husband every now and then because he used to be into Magic when he was growing up, but not so much nowadays. We play every now and then, but not super often. But it's a good time. I'm definitely not like a super competitive person in anything in my life, but yeah, that looks pretty fucking sweet. I'm not gonna lie. Let's repaint that one leg real quick. We can get this guy all finished up then. Yeah, because this wash was not a friend. All right, we'll have to wait for that to dry. But yeah, I think that looks fucking cool as shit. Oh, I missed the light on his backpack. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks fucking sweet. Yeah, so this is these guys here are the inspiration for him. And there he is, kind of with the bone color, and we got the purple, we got the grays, got a little bit of the black cloth, we got some brown like the squirrel there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think that looks really awesome. I'm legitimately probably going to paint all these Adeptus Mechanicus guys like this, because that looks really cool. Like he looks like some kind of like horrific darkness skeleton warrior, and that's just super dope. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Yeah. So man, I would highly recommend this. This is a really fun little painting exercise. I'm sure you could probably come up with something, you know, even cooler if you did it yourself. You know, plus like not like streaming and stuff, you know, it's going to add to the will add to the effect, you know. Because you know, is this as neat as I could paint? Probably not, you know. But that's always the tax of painting on stream, you know. It's just the stream painting tax. Like I try to make sure like I'm in like what I would consider a normal painting pose while I'm painting on stream, but still it's not exactly the same, you know. Alright, well his leg's going to take a minute or two to dry, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I am very happy with my little squirrel necromancer Adeptus Mechanicus guy though. And legitimately I'm probably going to paint the rest of my Adeptus Mechanicus like this because that looks really cool. Yeah, that is really, really cool looking. Well, I gotta let this leg dry. It's gonna be a minute or two before I slap the wash on it, so. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching as I opened up all these cool cards. And made a really cool model out of them. But I'll be back next weekend. I don't know what I'm doing next weekend. It'll be the weekend after Christmas. I'll probably also, to be completely honest, try to do a Christmas stream because I do generally like to do Christmas streams. So maybe we'll, I don't know, build something or do an unboxing or something maybe during Christmas because that sounds like fun. But, all right. I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. Would highly recommend if you guys need inspiration stuff. This was awesome. And yeah, have a good one.